You know, if you want great food, you come to Bobbie Ban on Central Park South, and it's just across from Central Park, the most incredible landmark, and the view is spectacular. People passing the traffic, and then they stop in Bobbie Ban for the best food. What do you specialize in here?
We're primarily a steakhouse, but we actually, Chef Cesar does a fabulous job with all the other items, the seafood, our chicken, all those other items are great, top notch, because that's what people expect now. They expect the prime dry aged beef and also the quality of seafood to back it up.
You know, it's interesting because I was going to ask you whether you age your beef, and you just answered that, so that's really good.
Absolutely, 28 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Must be spectacular.
It is. Don't even need a knife.
It just melts in your mouth.
Absolutely.
You know, that's the best kind, you know.
Yeah.
And now, where do you get your steaks from?
Master purveyors in the Bronx.
Wow, that's fantastic. So it's all local, really.
45 years.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yep.
And you've been in the restaurant business for how long?
My whole life.
Really?
Grew up in a business.
And
Started at 16 in my dad's restaurant.
Really? Where was that?
Out in Long Island in Rockville Center.
Wow. So you really have a sense of all this, and
Oh, absolutely.
and a passion.
You have to. It's not just a job, it's not a career, it's actually a lifestyle. And you have to realize that that's the important thing, is that you spend a lot of time here, and the people you surround yourself with are the people you want to spend your time with.
The great thing is the location.
Oh, the view's incredible.
Yeah,
It's right out that way.
Yeah, you got the plaza on one corner, and you got the athletic club on the
Yeah,
other side.
yeah.
I mean, this is just absolutely wonderful. The minute you come in, you've got a wonderful bar.
Right? We have a great bar, we have great seating here in the front, and we also have some outdoor seating as well on the sidewalk.
That is fabulous.
It's not a rush setting at this location. We're not a business area. No one comes in at 12 and leaves at 1. People come in at 12:31 and leave at 3:30 or 4. So it's a completely different surroundings when it comes to sit and relax. And the park has a lot to do with that.
Relaxation is so important, especially when you're having fine dining and fine wine.
Well, it's all part of it. You know, I mean, I can hire anybody to be a waiter, and I can even teach you to be a professional waiter. But I can't teach what people come here for. People come here for a little bit of personality as well, and it starts at the front and it ends when you sit at the table and people start interacting with our staff.
Lenny, tell me about some of the great steaks that you have here.
Well, our biggest seller is the porterhouse. It encompasses both sides of what everybody looks for: a sirloin on one side, a fillet on the other side. We slice it off the bone. We cook it to order. The next best is the ribeye, followed by the sirloin and the fillet. The fillet is just a great piece of meat as well. It just doesn't have that connective tissue and all the fat and the flavor that it is, and the marbling that's involved with all the other cuts.
How many pounds is it? That's a curious thing.
Pounds?
Yeah.
It's almost 2 pounds.
Wow,
on
that's
the
a lot.
porterhouse. Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. The ribeye is just as big, and the sirloin's a typical 16-ounce New York cut sirloin.
And do people actually eat all of that?
Yes, they do.
Wow, that's really amazing.
It's become like a celebratory or a reward for yourself, and I think people really enjoy it.
That's the most important thing. And you have sides that you serve with it?
We have the best sides. We've got hash browns, cream spinach, of course, mashed potatoes. We have the greens. We have spinach, broccoli, Brussels sprouts. We have them all. It's the sides actually complements it.
And then tell me about your seafood.
Oh, seafood's great. We got Chilean sea bass. We have tuna. We have scallops. We have shrimp. We have lobster. We have crab. We have all the things that are quintessential as far as the steakhouse. Then we have seasonal specials. Like right now we're running a bronzino. We have halibut. So we have to do the specials that are needed to require to keep everybody happy, especially for our regulars and our locals that live here on Central Park South.
So is it seasonal? Do you have a seasonal menu?
No, not really, just seasonal specials. Our menu basically stays the same. We just fortify it with seasonal specials.
So is it a weekly special or just a
Daily.
season? A daily special?
Daily, absolutely, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so
whatever comes in fresh.
Right, you're not going to have butternut squash soup in July, but we have that now.
Yeah.
You know, so those are the things that come about seasonally.
So you have a lot of repeat clients that come
Absolutely.
in. Yeah.
All our locations do, but this one does. It's very neighborhoodish.
And tell me how many locations you have.
We have 6 here in Manhattan, Hamptons, and Washington, D.C. Yeah.
That's quite a business to run, my God.
is quite
Just
a
keeping
business to
track
run.
of all that.
Yeah.
Do you have special drinks?
Yes. You know what? That's something that, we don't have like a list that you throw in front of somebody. You know, our bartender, Jon O'Donnell, he's been here forever, and he's been making people feel welcome after 5 minutes, and he'll get to know what you like to drink, and he can make anything.
And do people just come to the bar?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
And
all
then,
the time.
And then they decide they want to have dinner.
We force them to eat.
Force fed.
Yeah, that's right. Just by the aroma going back and forth, we force them to eat.
That's funny. You know, this is a wonderful place, a wonderful discovery, I think, for
Yeah.
anyone here in New York. And the fact that you have the other locations.
Correct.
And where are they located?
54th Street on the east side, Park Avenue and 46th Street. We also have 2 in Times Square and 1 down on Broad Street.
Wow, that is fantastic. Unbelievable. I'm going to have a wonderful sip of this drink because it just looks so refreshing. And shall we toast?
Absolutely. Cheers.
We'll toast to Bobbie Ban.
There you go.
Now, is that from the Bobbie Ban, from the actor?
No, Bobbie Ban, the piano player,
Oh,
singer-songwriter, opened up the first restaurant in the late 60s in Bridgehampton.
how fantastic.
And we took it over in 1993, and we've taken it from there.
You know, this has been a delightful experience.
Absolutely.
I love this restaurant. I shall come back many, many times.
You should.
So let's toast to Bobbie Ban.
Absolutely. Cheers.
Cheers to you. Now that's refreshing.
That is.
Well, thank you so much. This
My
has
pleasure.
been delightful.
It is.
And I can't wait to see what the chef is going to
Oh,
prepare.
don't worry about that. You won't leave disappointed.
Chasing Wild Ass. Oh, it's not what you're thinking. It's all about my travel around the world. I have interspersed photos and recipes to whet your appetite and allow you to dream and discover and rediscover these faraway destinations. The title came about while we were in Koch Wild Ass Sanctuary chasing jackasses in Gujarat, India. Chasing Wild Ass is food for the soul. It's adventure, it's history, it's culture, it's culinary, and it's a lifestyle. Chasing Wild Ass will entertain you and massage your soul. It's a celebration of life. You have to live every moment as if it's your last. My world is your world, so remember, get up, get out, and travel! This is the Taste of New York, and we're with Cesar Dutan, and he is the best chef in the world, I think. You're preparing all these wonderful steaks, all these wonderful dishes that everybody comes in. So talk about your preparation and how you came about being a chef.
Well, being a chef in my early career was like many chefs. I started from the bottom, from the beginning. I started as a dishwasher, you know, doing day-to-day working. Then I got interested into cooking because I wanted to learn. I wanted to know more. So what I was doing dishes, I was helping the salad guy. When I jumped to salad guy, I started doing helping the pasta station. So it was an escalate of going up and up and up, trying to escalate and grow and learn more. So at the beginning of my career, I went to a lot of different places, a lot of different restaurants with a lot of different chefs to learn, to see new techniques. When I first landed in New York, I actually fell in love with Italian food. The first food I was introduced was Italian food. I was so in love with bolognese,
Yes.
with lasagna, tiramisu, everything making from scratch. And I was so in love. I just fell in love with Italian food. And I was like, oh, this is my thing. I want to do this for the rest of my life.
And then you wound up in a steakhouse.
Well, actually, when Bobbie Ban took over this place, it was an Italian restaurant. And Bobbie Ban came over, took over the place. They switched the name. And they asked me if I would like to stay with them. I was like, of course. After I can see all these cuts, all this meat, that's another thing, a new thing to learn and have a different approach to food. I decided to stay with them. That was like 10 years ago now. And here I am. Because this is not only an American steakhouse. This is more like a little fusion with, because we doesn't only carry steaks, which is beautiful, beautiful steaks, 20-age dry-aged meat, as Mr. Lenny Pastor already told you. But also we have fish, we have pasta, we have pizza, we have different kind of salads. We have a lot to offer to different kind of travelers, because we're in the center of 40 Central Park South, and we got a lot of tourists. So we had to come up with this idea and this new concept of bringing different type of
Cuisine.
dishes, cuisine,
Right.
and mixing it up. This is more like a fusion. It's a steakhouse.
It's international.
It's international, yeah. We bring our culture. We bring a little bit of everything from our countries, from
Excitement.
where we travel, excitement. So we put the little zing-zang on every dish, you know, and that's where we come out with this idea to bring out something new.
And what's your favorite dish?
My favorite dish would be the Chilean sea bass from the menu from this dish. Yeah, it's the staple from Bobbie Ban's,
Right.
which we have in all the restaurants. The Chilean sea bass is coated with miso paste, and it comes in a nice little Asian broth with asparagus, bok choy, and you taste it. It's really, really delicious. That's one of my favorite dishes. So the meat cuts, the dry-aged meats, prime dry-aged meats. We have porterhouse, sirloin, ribeye, filet. It's all so delicious and marbling and just melt in your mouth once you cook. Yeah.
So what do you do? What do you cook at home? You know, in terms of your dishes.
I would say I cook international. I combine some kind of dishes that I would say New York dishes. A mix up of different cultures.
And that's what you make at home.
That's what I make at home. Yeah,
No Ecuadorian dishes.
Every now and then I go for Ecuadorian dishes. And growing as a kid, I have the experience of these dishes that my mom used to prepare. And I would like, every now and then I go to some Ecuadorian restaurants and I tasted it. It makes me remind like 30 years ago, like, wow, this dish I remember now.
Yeah.
So it's capturing my attention, and maybe in the future thinking about doing something like that.
So when you go to other restaurants, you're tasting all the ingredients that they put in. You're thinking about what they're doing. So it's almost like work as opposed to a leisure kind of experience.
Actually, it's a 24/7 work. You know, when I'm not here at the restaurant, I'm outside looking for new ideas, looking for tasting new foods. What's going on out there? What's everybody else doing? Thank you for coming to Bobbie Ban's. For you today, we're going to prepare nice, beautiful scallops as an appetizer. We have a beautiful Chilean sea bass as a main course. And of course, and not least, we're going to have a beautiful porterhouse, which is 28 dry age, as we spoke before. We have it outside so it can rest and be ready to go at 800 degrees oven. We sear it and we'll have it ready for you. Let's start with our first dish, which is going to be scallops. We're going to start searing the scallops on my cast iron pan. I'm going to start seasoning my scallops with salt, kosher salt. I'm going to briefly do with a little black pepper. I like using black pepper. I like using salt. We use sea salt for the finished dishes, but right now we're using kosher salt. And then we're going to go ahead and sear it. We have the extra virgin olive oil right here, which is going in the pan. We're going to get this nice cast iron pan get really hot so we can have a nice sear on the scallops. Meanwhile, I'm going to start working on the side that's going together with the scallops. So once you see that dish is hot, we're going to drop the scallops. It's nice and hot, sizzling. We're going to let that cook. While that cooked, I'm going to jump and go with my my lardons, which is going to go for they previously pre-cooked a little bit. This is lardons. We're going to roast with a little butternut squash with Brussels sprouts. And then I have the next dish. I'm going to start putting my Chilean sea bass. But first, we're going to go with one dish at a time. We got a nice sizzling right here. My scallops working beautiful. I'm gonna lower. Now we're gonna go and turn around and see, almost there, almost the color that we're looking for. It's nice and brown, but still, let's get another minute on that side. While we got working the scallops, we're gonna add some extra virgin olive oil. We're gonna add some roasted butternut squash. Also, we're going to add some Brussels sprouts. Again, we're going to season this with salt, even though it was seasoned already. And then I'm going to go ahead and deglaze my wine for my lemon caper sauce for the scallops. So there we go. We have nice caramelization. We got a nice color. Then I'm going to drop a few herbs to give that little nice herb flavor to it. I'm going to drop some butter. While I got my white wine reducing for my sauce. And I got my Brussels sprouts, butternut squash, and lardons working on it. That's reducing the white wine. And I got some, I have some pre-made sauce for the scallops, which is the lemon sauce. I'm gonna add a little bit of this to my pan, a little bit of capers. Then I'm gonna go really low on the fire, a little bit of capers on that. Once these are working together, I'm gonna add a dash of butter to my sauce and add a little bit of my vegetable stock. I have vegetable stock. I have chicken stock. I'm gonna add a little bit of vegetable stock to give a little more depth of flavor. So let's try this and see how this is. This is pretty much almost ready. Absolutely, the way I want it. It's really delicious. I'm gonna go ahead and plate this up. Have a nice dish. I'm gonna go ahead and start with my, I'm gonna keep basting my scallops with a little more of butter. I want a little more butter to it. They're already done. They're perfect, medium rare, the way I want them to be cooked. I'm gonna jump and start doing my plate right here for the scallops. A little bit of butternut squash, lardons, and Brussels sprouts. And on top, the scallops are gonna go right on top. There you go. That's pretty enough for these 3 scallops, I would say. We have this. Then we're gonna go ahead and taste our sauce. Our sauce is almost there. It's a little bit strong on the. I'm gonna add even though it has a little bit of capers, still needs some salt. You keep tasting. Once you're cooking, you have to be tasting how the flavors get together. I'm gonna add a little bit of butter. Then I'm gonna go ahead and plate it. Okay, this is nice and medium rare, nice and plump, cooked, well done. I didn't have to put it in the oven or anything. It just cooks there, sits there, and keeps it nice and hot. I'm gonna add a little bit of parsley. There you go. Thank you, David. I'm gonna go ahead and that's my meat resting. It's ready to go in the oven. So I'm gonna let it rest a little bit right here. Get some of the fat out. Then I'm gonna go ahead, plate it right here. Also gonna need some parsley just to garnish my salad. I have some previously chopped parsley at the end. Oh, this is delicious. I have to keep adding more little bit of the stock right here. I'm gonna just, the sauce is almost there. Meanwhile, I'm gonna go ahead and have the next pan ready for the dish, for our next dish, which is gonna be a Chilean sea bass. So I'm just deglazing my pan for the sauce to garnish the scallops. Scallops almost there. Everything's on the plate. Just there you go. This is a nice looking lemon butter sauce, which is gonna go on top of the scallops. Okay, and there you go. This is roasted butternut scallops, lardons, Brussels sprouts, lemon caper sauce. Enjoy it. Our next dish is going to be a Chilean sea bass, one of the Bobbie Ban signature dishes. We're going to briefly serve with some just salt, kosher salt, because remember this is going to be glazed with miso paste. So it's kind of like you don't need to season this all the way through. So we're going to go ahead and add, we have the pan ready. We're going to add some extra virgin olive oil, and we're going to sear our fish. It's going to take approximately 6 to 8 minutes in the oven. So we're going to go ahead and sear it. We're searing our fish. Here's a nice sizzling noise. It's getting the caramelization that it needs. Therefore, we're going to, after this, we're going to go ahead and stick it in the oven. We have an oven right here. We're going to go right in the oven. It's probably about 4 minutes per side. We're going to do one side. It's going to stay for 4 minutes. We're gonna turn around 4 more minutes, and then we're gonna glaze it with a miso sauce that we have it right here ready. And then meanwhile, we're gonna start working on the broth, which is, this is like an Asian inspiration dish. We have bok choy, we have asparagus, we have shiitake mushrooms. Sound like Asian, right? So we're gonna start doing this while our Chilean sea bass cooking. We're gonna go ahead and put another pan. I'm gonna saute all these items together. The shiitake mushroom is gonna go first on the pan, followed by pre-blanched asparagus, baby bok choy. So we're gonna go ahead and add some nice olive oil to the pan. We're gonna get nice sizzling hot, smoky. And it's coming out of this pan, and then we're gonna add our shiitake mushrooms. So we have the shiitake mushrooms now on the pan. This is actually the base for the, we're gonna extract a little flavor from the shiitake mushroom to get that Asian flavor to the dish. And then we're gonna add a little bit of chopped garlic. So we keep cooking the mushrooms while our Chilean sea bass is still in the oven. We're gonna add the rest of the ingredients. I'm gonna wait this to take last because this is already pre-branched, but this is pretty much cooked halfway. So once I got this all ingredients going on, I'm gonna, why not, throw everything. Let's keep going on this. We got the nice, let's add a little bit of, doesn't matter if it looks dry, you know, usually mushrooms tend to absorb all the oils. No matter how much oil you put on, it's gonna absorb all the oils. So we're gonna drop our bok choy to the dish. We're gonna go ahead and add some chicken stock we have ready for you. That's the chicken stock. Everything is getting together with the sauce. David, for the sauce for the Chilean sea bass, we're gonna add a special sauce that's made a broth for Chilean sea bass. You see the caramelization that you want? You want this caramelization to get on the Chilean sea bass. We're turning that side and we're putting back in the oven for probably another 4 minutes or so. We're gonna add this sauce, which it gives the Asian flavor to it. A little bit of this sauce. We add a little bit of chicken stock. And let all simmer for like 2 minutes or 3. While we start prepping our dish, we're gonna taste and see. It's too soon to taste it. Let's everything get together. We taste it like before we serve it. And then we'll add a little bit of a dash of butter just before the end. We're also gonna add a little bit of truffle oil, white truffle oil to the dish to give that little aroma to the dish. Then we're gonna go ahead and taste it. Once this is melting, I'm gonna go ahead and taste this and see how this is coming out. Smells absolutely wonderful. Taste on point, the way we want it, the way we expect it. Okay, so we are working on this sauce, which is pretty much ready. I'm not gonna go ahead and now I'm gonna add the rest of the ingredients, which is the asparagus, to complement the dish. And that's gonna be still simmering while we wait for our Chilean sea bass to be ready in the oven. So it's gonna take a couple more minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and let it rest right there. I have my Chilean sea bass. I wanna transfer my Chilean sea bass to an empty plate. David, let me have my spatula, fish spatula, please. We have the spatula. We're gonna pull out the Chilean sea bass from this pan, and you transfer it to a scissor plate. And then we're gonna go ahead and glaze it with a miso paste. This is a house preparation of miso, which is white wine, white miso paste, and also has some honey in it. So it's reduce it down and cook it down until it's thick and caramelized like this. So this is actually gonna add another flavor, Asian flavor to the dish. So that's the Chilean sea bass. Now it's gonna go to get a little caramelization. See how it's bubbling? So that's the actually caramelization we want on this dish. So we're gonna go ahead and start plating the dish. We have all the ingredients together right here on this dish. We have this ready. We're gonna taste it now and see how it comes out. All these ingredients, the mushrooms, the asparagus, and the baby bok choy. Absolutely amazing. Amazing how it tastes. It's got that Asian flavor, broth, that we wanted to get. We're gonna start plating this. Once this is cooking, we have our fish ready. Thank you, David. My sous chef is helping me out with today with our dishes. So we're gonna start plating the dish. We're gonna put all these ingredients for the Chilean sea bass, and we're gonna add the Chilean sea bass right on top of it. There you go, all the broth. I don't want it to be too thick or too heavy. This is the Asian broth. There you go. Beautiful. Chilean sea bass right on top of it. Gonna make a little room. There you go. Garnish with these little micro chives. We're gonna add a little more on the truffle oil right on top. And there you go. This is Chilean sea bass, miso glazed Chilean sea bass, Asian inspired.
Cocktail time.
Yes.
What an experience. Bobbie Ban, everybody's got to come because it's extraordinary. The steaks, the fish, the vegetables, potatoes, everything is just exquisite. Love it, love it, love it.
Yes.
Until next week, I'm Jon Haggins for the Taste of New York. So long for now.